podcast is Wrestling Daft and is scheduled for 1 hour. Maybe more. It has no real time limits, making their way into your ears. First, from a place called Barneston, he is the Pyramid. Rab Grado.
It's going to be the funniest show ever because I'm all about the comedy and the money, baby.
How much you gonna pay?
And his partner, the top end of Stevenson.
From Mexico City to Beef Community Centre, I've got stories that are going to blow your mind.
Hello and welcome to Wrestling Daft. My name's Rab Florence, and as ever, I would be nothing. I would be nothing in this world. I would be nothing in this world without my man, Grado. Grado, how are you? You are the master of the airwaves, breakfast radio, football daft, and now your third gig of the day, third gig of the day, Wrestling Daft.
You're right, Rab. What you saying to it? What's happening?
You are what I would call a workhorse, mate. You are a strong, dependable, sturdy, working man. And you always have been.
I know. I've been, I've been back in, this week has been chocker. It feels like everything's kind of getting back to normal. I've been doing radio, then going straight to filming something, then coming back to radio and blah, 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 blah all week. I'm absolutely bust today, absolutely bust. But you know what? That's what it's about, man. Hustle, loyalty, respect.
And soon you're going to have a baby as well to look after in the mix.
I can.
You've got to be juggling all of that. Oh, man. What a great future it's going to be. No, there's been big news, obviously, in the wrestling world this week that we need to talk about. Let's just move straight on to the big news of the week, which was, of course, sadly, Jericho tweeting about Rangers. Oh, and also New Jack died.
New Jack died. What do you want to talk about?
Well, you are going to have plenty to say about New Jack and Grado because you're the big ECW fan on the show.
Wow, man. I'll tell you what. I remember the first time I saw New Jack, it was on Bravo. And I remember just being like, what is this? This guy is the coolest. He was scary. The music. I remember getting my first ECW videotape, year 2000. And I would watch the New Jack stuff over and over and over and over. How cool was New Jack, man? By the way, do you know what I done last night? I bought his t-shirt. I felt like I was doing the right thing. I bought his t-shirt for ProWrestlingTees.com.
What does his t-shirt look like?
It's like a kind of like 90s, like I think it's what you would say. It's like a kind of 2-pack style. Do you know that way?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what you mean.
A 2-pack style t-shirt. And see, when I first started watching ECW and I started playing wrestling out the back door, you know, I was badass Mike Austin now and again, but now and again I was Ice Jack.
Ice Jack.
And I would wear a bandana like New Jack and I would use his music. And I would come out in my pal Big Dave's back door and Creedine Drive. Was it Creedine Drive? And I was obsessed with him. I thought he was just the best. And I thought there was something always dead mysterious about New Jack, even later on in life. Like, I always, because you heard that he got a tryout in 2005, and the story was that he was told no to don't approach Vince McMahon. He had a dark match that night. And he was like, fuck that, and went up to Vince and says, cheers for bringing me down, mate. And then the next minute, his name was scrubbed off the board. So he never got his chance. But there was people talking about it as well, right? You imagine, right? It was actually Cornette said it on his podcast, and I was like, wow, that's so true. No, he was at Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He went to ECW. ECW, he became the wrestler what he was. He done his table dives, the guitar shots, the staple guns, right? Mm-hmm. However, see if there wasn't that, which, by the way, I loved at the time. I mean, honestly, I could go back and watch that. I mean, I've been watching it on YouTube all this week with the music in the background, how they played it. But say there was an ECW, right? And he was at Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Him and Mustafa, what a tag team, right? Now, could you imagine if it was there, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and then the Attitude Era came in with the wrestling? How much would New Jack and Mustafa have fit it in the Attitude Era?
Oh, beautifully.
We've spoken
about New Jack on here before. many a time, I think, where we've been talking about wrestlers you'd be scared of.
Wow.
And you would, and I've said many a time, oh man, I'd be scared of New Jack. I'd be scared of having to go and wrestle New Jack or work with New Jack or even be in the back and no New Jack was in there. I'd be feared. And the reason why is because that was one of the guys, you believed his gimmick.
Did you see Heyman's promo about him?
I did, aye.
It was amazing. And he was bang on.
And he was basically saying he was the real deal, you know what I mean?
The real deal. There was nobody else that could play that because that's who he was. The story about when Dallas said years ago before he started ICW, sure I said that we're at the JT Snake Roberts seminar and Dallas had said he was like, I just want to book a company, an over 18s company. I want to run it, and I'm going to bring in New Jack, and the music's going to hit. And I always thought that'd be the fucking best, man, the best to get New Jack. I think he actually did try, but I'm sure there was some sort of
maybe wasn't allowed in or something.
Probably wasn't allowed in the country, but that made me kind of sad when he died because I thought that'll never ever happen now. But how good would that have been in Glasgow? New Jack turning up at ICW. Think about that.
It would have been the perfect fit, really, wouldn't it? It would have been the perfect. It's a shame. It's always sad when wrestlers go before their time, and there's been far too many of them over the years. And he's one of the guys you just associate with ECW, you know what I mean? And he's one of the guys you associate with the kind of the edge of ECW that I liked. I was less of a fan of the kind of RVD stuff.
I know what you mean.
In ECW, if you know what I mean.
So you were making a Balls Mahoney, Sandman.
Aye, I was that was for me. That was the appeal of ECW
outfit.
Guys like RVD. You could imagine you could see on WCW, for example. You know what I mean? There were guys like that you could imagine you could see elsewhere. But there was even Tommy Dreamer fit for me because he was like, he was just this dude who was cutting about with his joggies and his fucking t-shirt, and you know what I mean?
Aye.
And you got this real kind of school holly vibe after him. And New Jack seemed like a guy that had just fucking walked in off the street, came in out of an alleyway, and decided he was going to kill everybody. You know what I mean? And that I think is the beauty of any extreme wrestling promotion needs, I think, the guys that you feel are genuinely
no wanted elsewhere.
Partly that, and partly just the sense that you're kind of seeing the real guy here. If you were to meet him in the club after the show, he would carry the same amount of threat. He wouldn't be putting his arm around you and being like, "Did you enjoy the show tonight, mate?" I would. You know what I mean? He would carry the same amount of threat and danger about him. It's why, and with ICW, I was a big fan of Renfrew. You know what I mean? Because the vibe I got for Renfrew was that as well. Even though I'd known him as the ladies' choice, Chris Renfrew, back in the day, right? Even though there was that, I still felt that there was that period in ICW where Renfrew was doing his thing, and you kind of felt like there we have the kind of heart of what ICW kind of should be there. You know what I mean?
I would agree with you there. And also with New Jack as well was he entertained us for years after as well. With his interviews, man, shoot interviews, and if you're going to watch any shoot interview, because he done loads, but the one where he's sitting there, him, Honky Tonk Man, and the Iron Sheik has got to be the craziest shoot interview. They get their arses out, they bury everybody.
What is this? New Jack and Honky Tonk Man and
New Jack, Honky Tonk, and Iron Sheik.
I mean, this is three guys you would imagine would never hang out with each other, innit?
That's why it's brilliant. And they laugh at everything each other says. They're pissing themselves at one another. They're steaming. They're trying to buy drugs on the phone. It was no long after Benoit died, so they're all getting tore into Benoit. You need to see this shit. It's fucking hilarious.
But obviously, it's a sad day. It's a sad moment for anybody who's a fan of ECW and anybody who remembers wrestling the way it used to be. Now, let's talk about Jericho. Tweeted you about the Rangers, didn't he, Grado?
Well, he went to tweet me. He done it wrong, didn't he? He never atted me right.
Or did he just tweet out to the world?
Well, the story was, right, I was sitting watching the game with Stephanie, and I think it was just shortly after the game, the Rangers tweeted a little bit of the bubbly, and I went, "This is my chance." So I text Jericho right away. I went, "You don't understand." I goes, "Look, you need to tweet something about this." I goes, "There's two Rangers fans, but kind of two wrestlers that are Rangers fans. There's me and Drew, but Drew always gets all the attention." I sent him a voice note, I think. I says, "Gonna, can you say well done to the Rangers and tag me in it?" He done it, but it was funny, right? Because it took off, right? And there was a lot of my Celtic supporting mates that are on Twitter. They were kind of laughing, going, "Oh man, this is the worst day ever." New Jericho's tweeting about the Rangers. Can this day get any worse? A lot of folk were kind of finding it funny. The wee boy that does the Celtic podcast with the glasses, I can't remember his name. He was kind of getting on it and on. It was a good bit of fun, but then obviously all that carry on Saturday night, man, and then I woke up on Sunday morning and the thread on Twitter where it had just taken an absolute dive, man. Oh man, I was fuck. I just went, "How is it you did unfollow Fred, man?" I was like, "Come on, fuck, man." I just went, I had to come off, so that kind of ruined it. However, aye, man, Jericho, a little bit of the bubbly. What did you think?
I thought it was brilliant. Obviously, I thought it was amazing. After Rangers' victory at the weekend, Billy let us know about a thread going on Twitter, which is labelled "The Trouble at George Square in Glasgow" as the Loyal Rumble. It's funny, isn't it?
Aye. We'll keep it this one.
So how was George Square anyway on Saturday?
Oh, don't be so silly.
It's like that thing, you know what I mean? It's like Rangers, right? You can maybe clarify this on me, Grado, right? Because I've always kind of thought this, right? Rangers are kind of happy to be the baddies, right? Rangers see that. Do you know as a Rangers fan, kind of, you don't perceive yourself as faces, do you? Do you not perceive yourself as kind of cocky heels? Do you know what I mean?
No one likes us, we don't care. That kind of.
Aye, I mean this is the fucking thing. This is the thing I kind of get my head around. It's like you get some Celtic fans who are like, they see Rangers fans as behaving like that, or the Rangers thing going on, and they're like, "You should be ashamed and all that, and you should be embarrassed and all that kind of stuff." But I've always kind of thought to myself, right, hold on here. If you were to look at it in wrestling terms, Rangers fans kind of know they're kind of like, we are kind of like the institution of kind of, we're the baddies kind of wee bit. Nobody likes us. We don't give a fuck, man, because we're above you. That's the thing. That's the gimmick, right? Am I wrong?
I'm no comment on it.
I just think that's the thing, and I think people are just sometimes a bit daft about this. They don't realise that, and it's kind of just. I also think.
Did you watch Raw, mate?
I'm not excusing any behaviour as well, right? And this is a Celtic fan talking here, right? And I'm not but to be fair, I'm not a hardcore Celtic fan, right? I'm not really. I fucking couldn't tell you anything about football now, to be honest.
Did you get abuse for your "We Are the People" tweet or something?
No, really, because I genuinely think people out there know that I don't hate Rangers fans, or I don't hate Rangers. You know what I mean? And I do think, see this thing where, and again, I want to say it's not. I don't want to. I'm not excusing bad behaviour, but see, filming people when they're fucking steaming drunk, and they're saying things they probably will regret that they've said or done. It's just, that's no cool either. I don't think. You know what I mean? So anyway, what is this that's came here? There's some Rangers related wrestling names that people have got in touch with. Kev got in touch with Prod Van Dam. Hammy came up with Kevin Sash. Selco says the liquidation of Doom. I think the Nation of Liquidation would have been better than that. Brett the Hootman Hart says, what about his partner, Scott Masonic Hall? And Craig Beaton has got Orange Cassidy. Daniel says, I know you don't do retro reviews anymore, but Raw September 25th, 2000 is a banger.
Wow.
Unforgiven 2000, Return to Austin, and thought you'd follow it with the next Raw. What a telly show. Is there any other hidden gems? Aye.
I remember watching that show the night after Unforgiven. I was at Nana Snooker's house, me and my pal Gary. It was the night after Unforgiven. Austin comes back, the new music. I remember that show. Totally remember that show.
What music was it?
The Disturbed Glass Shatters.
I love the Disturbed one.
Oh, that was the best Austin song. Why did he go back to the normal stuff? I don't know.
I do like the normal one better, but I like the Disturbed one as well.
Any hidden gems or Raws? I'm trying to think. Hidden gems.
The Raw, you really need to watch. See the Raw. I think the Raw on 14th of March, 1997. Raw on the 14th of March. Thursday, the 14th of March, 1997 is a classic.
A Raw?
Aye. Another wee question for Thomas. If you were to rank them for best to worst, how would you rate Sting and Robocop, Rick Steiner and Chucky? Oh no, Sting and Robocop, Rick Steiner and Chucky are the Backlash zombies. Where do they come? What did you think of the zombies, Grado?
I've not watched it. I've only heard about it. I just read Meltzer's tweet about. He says such and such in a lumberjack with zombies. It sounds a lot worse than what I'm rating it to be. So I'll have a look at it on YouTube. Now, was it really that bad? He's raging. He's what's the crack? John, I would like to hear your opinion on all.
Well, I don't like it, but it was just like, obviously, I've been fucking listening to Jim Cornette. It's just like total break of kayfabe. It was just like zombies coming. I mean, we've had the Fiend in saying that, but now we've got fucking zombies surrounding a ring like the Walking
Alexa
Dead.
Bliss is on Raw with a haunted doll every week.
I know. The Waynes would have liked it.
There is no people kind of go, oh, that was stupid. There was zombies. The Fiend and Alexa Bliss are on that show every week.
Rick Steiner and Chucky was worse than it.
I've just had a look at it there. I mean, folk are kind of lost. It's just a stupid wee bit.
Just a
It's been
daft
fucking
wee promo bit. Get out of it. Shout out to Storm Huntley on the Jeremy Vine show, who managed to slip in an impression of Chris Jericho.
They got a few things wrong. I've never heard any posh person call champagne champers. That's not.
Oh, they do. A little bit of the bubbly.
Stormy, Shirley, you posh.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah.
I mean, see that has went. I mean, the guy at my work that does the news, he's no idea who Chris Jericho is, and he gives it a little bit of the bubbly.
I reached out to Storm Huntley via Twitter from the Wrestling Daft account saying, "Hey Storm, it's been pointed out that you might be a wrestling fan. Would you like to come on the show?" Obviously, our listeners, being fucking our listeners, all then tweeted Storm Huntley saying, "She's not going to shag you, John."
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I just wanted to get her on the show, a bit of publicity, come out as a wrestling fan.
Right, listen, I want to just put a message out there. John works really hard on this show, trying to put things together for us. Do not ever fucking do that again. Listeners, have some respect for both John and for Storm Huntley. So, Willie says that in response to Grado's Matt Riddle on last week's show where we asked, do you know anybody who has a wrestling name? A few people have been in touch. Willie used to work in KFC with a guy called Drew McIntyre. Jack Morrison got in touch and says, people always used to say to me, Jack Morrison, like the wrestler. No, that's John, I said.
What the fact is Jack Morrison that was on, what's that show on a Saturday night? Did you see
Crime
it?
Watch.
No, the I Don't Know Your Voice or something like that. Where you have to kid on if they're fabing they're a good singer or no. On a Saturday night. Have you not seen it?
Oh, yeah, I do know the one.
Jack was on it. He you know Jack Morris for ICW?
No, I don't.
Do you know Jack Morris? He's been on
I don't
that.
think so.
Jack, honestly, Rab, he's fucking shit hot. He's really, really good.
I don't think I know him.
He's going to end up signed. He's going to end up signed without a doubt. There's no reason.
I think it's a different Jack Morrison.
Good looking. He's really, really good.
You don't think this was the Jack Morrison getting in touch with?
No.
In fact, no, maybe his name's Jack. It's Jack Morris. Sorry, Jack Morris.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Right, Pablo got in touch saying my dad has got a friend called Mick Foley.
That's what I want to hear, man.
But the most extreme thing he ever did was volunteer to be the driver when they all went to Leeds for the away leg, a Celtic's European Cup tie in 1970. My granddad apparently took a bump that Cactus Jack would have been proud of when my dad gave him a punt out of the wall at the home leg. Graham says the guy that buried my granny was the Undertaker. That's a listener of the week line there.
There we go.
Andy says years back I worked in a call centre for Yes Car Credit. Fuck off. And my team leader was a wee skinny guy from Bradford called Rick Quiche. No, you fucking wasn't. I don't believe that, Andy.
I reckon there's many of these out there, so keep going with this.
And if you can prove them, even better.
Get them on the show.
If you want to get in touch with us about any of that or just random wrestling-related stuff, get us on Twitter at Wrestling Daft, on Insta at Wrestling Daft Podcast, just Wrestling Daft on Facebook, or email us at wrestlingdaft@gmail.com. Now, every week we like to separate the good for the bad in wrestling. We like to bury things that we don't like, and we like to put over and the wrestling vernacular things that we did like. Grado, is there anything that you would like to bury or put over this week?
So with me, man, it's just podcast documentary. Right now, how good is it? And I know you're not into your documentaries, but see now we've got the thing in the Sunday night, the WWE Legends thing or biography. We've got Dark Side of the Ring, which is good. The Nick Gage one last week, Jesus. I totally remember that. Do you remember that show with CCW where he basically ripped out his guts? You know his guts? What do you call they things in your arm? No ligaments.
Tendons.
That's how I ripped out his tendons in the helicopter to come. But mate, what a kind of scary guy, man. I'm so glad that I had to pull out a show with him, man. I'm so
Do you
glad.
kind of think as well, though, the funny thing about him?
No, I'm not so glad, but just the stuff with Arquette, man, was a bit. Oh, did you see it?
Aye, but do you know think that the weird thing about him is he doesn't look that scary, didn't you know? Like if you saw him in the street, just walking by you wouldn't be like, oh fuck, he's like a hardcore wrestler guy.
Aye.
You know what I mean? He doesn't have that look about him, but then you see him, and that's the thing they say in it, it's like the real crazy people, they fucking don't look at it, don't they know?
Aye.
The real deals.
Have you watched any of that Side of the Ring shit now?
No.
Right, you need to get one. You've not watched one episode, haven't you?
I haven't watched any of them.
John, have you watched any of the current
I've
seasons?
not seen any of the new ones yet, no.
Honestly, you must really, how you can sit and watch through Backlash, but you can't watch the documentaries, I just don't get that. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just me.
Backlash was good.
I will watch them. I want to put over Roman Reigns and Cesaro's match at Backlash. Right, first of all, Cesaro has been fantastic this past few months. He's been absolutely brilliant this past few months, and he was brilliant. He was brilliant again. A great match, probably my favourite match of the year, I think. But I would also like to say, and this is about the millionth time I've said this on this show, Roman Reigns is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And we're seeing a guy now, I think we're seeing with Roman Reigns now, one of the best wrestlers of all time in his prime, the new. Now, this is it. And this is what I want to say to people out there. You need to be watching fucking Roman Reigns the new. Forget about whatever promotion you like. Maybe you're an AEW fan and you hate what the WWE are doing. If you're a wrestling fan, you fucking make a point of watching Roman Reigns the new. The new 2021 as Roman Reigns is the new, and the gimmick that he's in just now, cutting the promos that he's cutting the new and having the matches that he's having the new, you are seeing one of the best to ever do it in his prime, the new. So I don't care what promotion you love. I don't care if you hate WWE. I don't care if you've no watched WWE in fucking 5 years. If you're not watching Roman Reigns the new, you're missing out.
Do you know what? I know I keep bringing up what Cornette says in his podcast. Folk may get pissed off for this, right? But he made a point about there was a backstage promo with the zombies, and then it cut to Roman Reigns backstage cutting a promo, which kind of, well, he says, well, you know, look, it totally buries whatever he's going to say because he's just watched fucking zombies. And he kind of made the point, I should Roman Reigns put his foot down and be like, what the hell is this on the show? When he's the top dog right now, and they're putting out stuff like that. Is that a point?
Well, look, 100%. I was talking to, like, me and Jester were talking about this just this week. We were saying, you know, there was a time probably a Stone Cold Steve Austin, for example, would be like, I'm not going on after that.
Aye.
That bullshit. You know what I mean? But listen, in the Attitude Era, there was a whole load of fucking daft shite. You know what I mean? While they were doing their thing, there was a whole load of fucking nonsense was happening. And
we've got to remember is we loved it. So as the folk that were our age when we watched the Attitude Era, are they watching the zombies going, that's quite good, man. You see the zombies? You sometimes forget that, don't you? You need to put yourself...
I mean, I like to think we probably wouldn't have, because we were like, the stuff we liked back in the Attitude Era days, it wasn't stuff like zombies ate the Miz. So wasn't it funny when the zombies were eating the Miz? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a bit of a leap too far, I think. I'm not a big fan of it myself, but I just kind of think it's not a massive deal. And I think Jim Cornette's right. I don't think it hurts Roman Reigns at all. Something like that. I really don't think it hurts Roman Reigns at all. The weird thing about Cornette is Cornette almost sometimes behaves like it's still fucking 1984. You know what I mean? And it isn't 1984 anymore, and the audiences are smarter than Cornette gives them credit for, I think. You know what I mean?
Well, see, at the end of the day, the only thing I want to say about Cornette with stuff like that is he moans about the kind of exposing a business. When I mean, his shoot interview when it came out was the biggest thing in wrestling at the time.
Aye.
I always find that mental when you hear old, the old timers moan about how.
Well, listen.
It was out in the open internet. I'm like, well, you were the guys who done the fucking shoot interviews and let us know. Because how did we smarten up? We all got smartened up through the likes of shoot interviews.
Yeah, but also Jim Cornette is a guy who is constantly talking about things hurting wrestling, things harming wrestling, right? And he's putting out a massively fucking listen to podcast every week where he fucking buries everything.
I enjoy it, mate.
I know you enjoy it, but there is an argument to be made that, there are few people out there that are hurting professional wrestling the new as much as fucking Jim Cornette is, because he's got this big wide audience that he's telling every week, this is shite. He that buried him there. He's fucking crap. He can't wrestle. She's only there because she looks good. You know what I mean?
Grado's retired for wrestling, man. There's a happy ending.
And there's a happy ending for him because he's out the rest. Let's see what the punter says anyway. John hated it. No, this John. No, old John. Another John out there wants to bury the zombie lumberjack at Backlash. A load of shite, he says it was. But he does want to put out Roman Reigns and Cesaro. Great match. And he's hoping for a big payoff for Cesaro. I think everybody's rooting for Cesaro here, and it's nice. It's no because we're not rooting for him because it's like, come on, he's been around long enough, he deserves it. We're rooting for him because he's always been great, but he's been particularly great. He's really kind of took advantage of the opportunity he's been handed. Stephen wants to put over Reigns versus Cesaro for Backlash. Tremendous match. Great storytelling throughout. My match of the year candidate to date, he says. And he wants to bury New Jack dying. Rest in peace to the original gangster. Well, he wants to put over WWE's reenactment of Saturday Night in George Square during the Miz Damien Priest match at Backlash.
We've been on that one.
Nearly spot on, minus the smashed bucky bottles. Damien Priest has kind of been, this is me talking, Damien Priest has kind of been associated with a load of shite since he kind of moved up, didn't he? I know you were a fan of the Bad Bunny thing, John, but it's still the truth. Whatever you thought of it, it's still the truth that people were talking more about Bad Bunny than they were about Damien Priest, and I don't know how that helps him. Yeah,
and then he's stuck with zombies surrounding the ring, promoting a film. It's no good for him. He's a good wrestler as well.
Yeah. And Billy wants to put over Roman Reigns patching that wee interview woman like a big bastard. And wants to bury Dominic Mysterio because his face just annoys Billy.
That's a shame. He's only a wee boy.
Billy doesn't like his face. Maybe he should wear a mask like his dad. Paul wants to put over Cesaro getting a great showing. If they're holding off until there's fans for him to beat Roman, I'm happy with that. Personally, myself, I'm still looking for Big E to be the one to beat Roman. I would love to see that. Paul wants to bury losing New Jack. What a guy. What a story. Go to your way to watch his Dark Side of the Ring episode. Kev wants to put on Natalia and Tamina Snuka winning the tag titles. Both of them are hardworking, loyal, and they deserve it, do they? Do they really deserve it? I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm a big fan of women's wrestling, right? I'm a big fan of wrestling, and I'm a big fan of the great women who are out there doing the wrestling now. I don't get the Natalia thing, really. I've always found her a wee bit dull in the ring. No comment, boys. Right, cheers.
It's not that. Honestly, man, there's a lot of stuff, and I'm like, I do not know what's happening in wrestling. And I'm sitting here with like a bit of a beamer, to be fair. You know that way? Well, I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about.
Natty and Tamina Snuka won the tag titles finally, and everybody acted like it was like, finally they've done it and all that. And Hangman, I was just kind of like,
I don't even know the tag team.
I'm not sure anybody gives a fuck about them.
I think it would be nice if they'd done it at WrestleMania, just because
though?
I guess it's just a wee nod, and let's face the fact, it's the women's tag belts, which has been the worst. It's been punted about so badly and booked so badly.
But what is that a nod to?
Just give them a wee moment at WrestleMania to acknowledge what they've done in their career, because they've been there. I mean, Tamina must have been there. It must be about 8 or 9, maybe going on 10 years now. And Natalia's been there just slightly longer than her. So give them a wee moment,
Why?
Just because.
How long was the Brooklyn Brawler in working for the WWF?
True that.
And were people going like that? Give the Brooklyn Brawler the world title. He's worked hard. He's been around for 8. Give him the world title.
It's just it's the women's tag belts that no one's invested in, so why not? That'd be nice.
Listen, wrestling belts are supposed to be they're supposed to be for the best. It's not supposed to be like the wee pat in the head. Again, me and Jester were talking about this week. People posing for their photos beside Triple H. You know what I mean? The wee patronising pat in the head, like your fucking friendly uncle, like that. There you go. I've gave you here's a wee medal for you, son. There's your wee belt. Well done. That's you a wrestler now. Well done, son. There's a wee 40.
It's so true, man. That's funny.
Somebody needs to fucking... See if I had 5 minutes with Triple H, right? First of all, I'd say, big fan, mate. Loved your stuff back in the day and all that. Respect to you. How are the Waynes? Everything good? All right. How's the father-in-law? Fuck's sake, I must be sorted. And then I would say to him, fucking stop posing for these photos, because you're burying them. That's fucking burying these people posing for these fucking photos, as far as I'm concerned.
I wonder if there's any wrestlers went, would you mind though? That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Aye, absolutely. And I think maybe Triple H would fucking respect a wrestler. I don't want to do that.
Aye.
I don't want to do that.
Drop that push, I'll be fine. Just let me stir myself.
Aye. Totally. Mick wants to put over the subtle way that the pay-per-view mentioned Batista's new film. You might have missed it. It was featured in the opening 4-minute package, a 3-minute advert, 2 skits, a whole match, constantly on LED screens, and mentioned by the commentary team 18 times.
What is this? Is this the advert? Is it Batista
Army of the Dead?
Wee Lassie or something like that?
No, it's Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead, right. Okay.
Giza Gobbledygooker wants to put over the person who named the George Square riot on Twitter the Loyal Rumble. He loved that, and he wants to bury New Jack passing away so young. I know he was mental, but that's no age for somebody to die.
He also didn't look 58.
That is one of the most beautiful tributes I've ever heard anybody pay to somebody that's died. I can almost imagine somebody standing up at a funeral and saying, I know he was mental, but that's no age for someone to die. Imagine somebody sticking that on your fucking tombstone. You know what I mean? Robert Florence died 2024. He was mental, but that's no age for him to die. Lovely sentiment there, Giza Gobbledygooker. Absham wants to put out the zombie match. It was hilarious. It gave me a massive laugh throughout, and it was also a clever way of promoting your sponsors. There you go. He was like, I'm fine with it. I'm having a laugh. I'm having a wee beer, watching the wrestling. I don't care. I know it's no real zombies. I'm not worried about it. And he wants to bury the people burying that match. Take it for what it was. It was a laugh and a joke. If you want serious, boring wrestling, then stick with Japan. Hold on. What did he say? If you want serious, boring wrestling, I was on your side there for a minute. Let's move on. It's time for the run-in. And this week for the run-in, we're doing something very special. We're just going to open up the lines to a random. This is a proper run-in this week. A random person is going to jump in. We don't even know who it is. We're just opening it up to the online community, and let's see if somebody jumps in to chat with us tonight. Let's open up the lines.
Right, here we go. Just put out on Twitter.
Did you just put the link out?
Aye. There's someone in the waiting room called Sabotage.
There's somebody in the waiting room called Sabotage.
Get Sab in.
Right.
It's not the actual Sabotage, is it?
Sabotage. It'll be SW. Sabotage is going to be. Hold on.
Really?
I wish I had these music to play him in. Hold on. Is he coming in?
He's coming in.
You think it's...
It's got to be, man.
Radio, do you think it's actually Sabotage?
Did you see this music?
He's in!
Come on, get your video on!
There he is! It is him!
How you doing, big man?
What you shouting at, mate?
Aye, it's all right.
How you doing, mate? You all right? You good?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, you?
Yeah, good.
This is who I had my first ever singles match with, John.
Oh, really?
Aye.
Yeah.
Right, tell us about this first ever singles match.
I think you were pretty stiff, weren't you, Grado?
Aye. I don't hold back, mate.
Yeah, we butted heads a bit, didn't we? Yeah, you laid it in a bit.
I laid it in, mate. Definitely. I kind of left you black and blue. Hey, do you remember? Do you know what my favourite thing about Sabotage is? I used to take them to the because remember you would stipe me a bit.
Yeah.
And remember we went to the kebab shop and you were still in like with the contact lenses and the gimmick, and everybody in the kebab shop was like, Undertaker, there's Undertaker.
No, that was because you went, see, take out, say, yeah, and then that guy came out and, Undertaker, I'm standing there, mate, I just want some chips. It's the Taker, and he's there, yeah,
Brilliant, man. So what's happening?
Nothing. We've just moved house into my mum's old place. I'm just working away. That's it. Doing nothing really.
How's Abby? She all right?
Yeah, she's all right. Yeah. She's not, mate. Truth be told, she did all the move. I didn't lift a finger.
Really? Come on.
I'm not even joking. I didn't do a thing.
Wait, are you still wrestling? Like, are you still training?
No, my balls. No, I can't even watch it. The current product's crap.
No, mate. It's like we were just like Rab goes on and talks about what's happened on Raw and SmackDown. I get embarrassed because I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, he's nothing to talk about, has he? He can talk about people talking, and that's it. And then AEW is watchable, but I think they've got their own 2-hour special of Botchamania on YouTube, haven't they?
Do you know what's funny? See that Twitter account, the AEW Botches, I follow that.
Yeah.
I love that.
No,
Big man, how do you feel about the British scene just now? How do you feel about that scene?
Well, I said when I was working up in Scotland all the time that Scotland at the time had the best, for me, the best foundation to start. The fact that SWA took off with, I'm not being unfair, but half the roster was crap and with trainees and people paying to come and watch it. The fan base was always there. I think the only one that competed in the UK consistently was All Star, and they know what they're doing. But for me, the number one promotion in the UK at the moment is ICW. I don't think you're getting any better.
Well, do you know what? See, when you think about it, right? You're so right. See, back in the day, mid-2000s, the shows that you would go to, man, it was really bad, wasn't it?
It was crap. The quality was crap.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, that was back in the day when if you couldn't get booked on a show, you set up your own promotion and started again.
Aye.
And it was like, who trained you? Oh, I trained myself. I'm self-trained like it. Self-trained like it's something to be proud of. No, trained. I watched a few backyard videos.
Are you still in touch with Peter Murphy? Are you still in touch with Peter and all that?
No, I've not spoken to Peter for maybe 15 years.
Really? That long?
Yeah, we had a difference of opinion over how things. I bought into SWA at the time, and I wanted it run properly like a business. So I wanted to see business accounts and books and money coming in and money going out. I wanted to know who was getting paid what, how we were running, what our budget was for shows, as it should be. And I got none of it. So I didn't get told what workers were getting paid, who was being paid what. I found out that some of his buddies were getting paid a lot more than even I was, and I was part owner at the time. The day we opened SWA, I don't know if Grado remembers, but I drove up from Preston in a van I hired that did a top speed of 45 miles an hour. It took us 6 hours to get to Scotland with a truck full of judo mats for the back for the gym.
I remember that.
Mate, wasn't that a nightmare? What was it, midnight? We were waiting to lay it all down.
That's right. I remember that. I remember waiting up for it and all that. I remember that clear as day. Remember when you took SWA? Remember when you done that?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Do you know what? The whole thing was a bit underhand. Peter came down to my house and my computer was set up and he said, have a look at this. And he pressed a button and brought up a website, www.swa.co.uk. And I was like, what's that? That's a new promotion. I'm taking SCW from Kenny Morrison. Like, right, okay. Why? He doesn't know what he's doing. Don't know what I'm taking it. I'm going to run with it. Okay. It was people playing at wrestling promoter. That kid, that Mark Dallas lad, he seems to be doing it properly. Mm. It should be run as a business. If you're charging people to come in, you should be paying your workers and you should be putting on a product that's worthy of what someone's paying to get in and watch it. Some of it. I mean, you remember that Conscious Big Drew match where the ring collapsed, so they wrestled just on the floor.
Where was that? I don't remember that.
Peter bought a ring from Chris Curtis in BWA, and he brought that really shitty ring up. That was, this is the old World of Sport ring. It's amazing. It even had the old. It had the canvas on it. Oh, Big Daddy's been in there. Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, and first match in, the main beam broke and sunk down the middle. Me and Magic had to wrestle on the outside of the edges of the ring.
Of course, I remember that.
Then the whole thing collapses. So Peter and Drew had to do their match on the floor on the outside. It's an outside the ring match. Who's ever heard of that?
It's brilliant. I'm loving this. So, is there any other things that you can think of, right, for like pure shit British wrestling that sticks out your mind, like a pure horrible moment, like you know?
Oh yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, that kid you used to tag with, walking past me, and the smell hitting the back of my throat, and I said, Jesus Christ, who stinks in here? Oh, it's no me. I said, mate, you absolutely stink. You've got to get a wash. It's disgusting. There's other people. Oh, it's no me. It is you. I think there's flies all around you. You stink, mate. Get a wash. You can't get in the ring with someone and stink like that. You'll stick to him. Hey, it's no me. And then everyone walking past nodding at me going, it's just, where does that, you tell me you've been at TNA. You walking past Chris Jericho stinking. Hey, Chris, you stink there, mate. I'll have a wash out. It's just a joke.
The one thing I want to say about back then, I remember when I went to my first SWA show, and I remember watching, and I remember seeing Grado on the first show that I was at, and I was like, "There's a wee boy. There's like a wee boy wrestling, just a wee boy."
Little Graham's what my wife calls him.
But I remember, man. I remember when you came out, I was like, "Fucking hell, there's a wrestler! There's an actual wrestler."
Do you know what? It was Graham did it right because he started young. Kenny and some of the others didn't give you the time of day, did they? Really, they was just like, this kid's a joke. But I remember saying to him years ago when you were doing that Optimus Prime band shit you had.
President Prime.
Oh, that's it. You know, you had a load of charisma, and you know you can't teach charisma. You can teach a look to an extent, and you can teach wrestling moves to anyone, but you can't teach the charisma. So that piece of wood that you used to come out with the lowlanders, I mean, Jesus, that was just dragging a bit of driftwood around the ring with you. What was that?
I thought he was.
Look, admit it, mate. I'm not talking about him personally. There was a lot of crap in that locker room.
But you know what? I was the same, man. You know what? I was.
No.
But you were a kid, though.
Yeah, but the difference was he listened. He asked everyone for advice. He listened. He took the advice, and he went with it. Some of the others were just like, "What do you know?" Well, I know the way to a gym for a start, mate, and I know how to use deodorant. So these are key things when you're getting in the ring with someone.
Who are you still in touch with? Is there anybody that you still have a good, like Magic, for example?
No, Magic was a piece of shit. Magic was a toss spot. Magic, Conscience and Magic had this idea that they wanted to put Magic over in one of the SWA shows by squashing me. And he said, listen to this, no one is it's going to be such a surprise, no one's going to be expecting it. What we're going to do, we're going to have him come out and squash you, and then you win with a roll-up in the last minute. So I said, right, okay, so Magic weighs, what, six stone or something, and I'm 18.5 stone. If he can lift me up across his shoulders for his crappy little DVD and do it legitimately, I'll go for it. And he tried to pick me up, and he had a set of legs like a sparrow's. They were just shaking underneath. I said, but this is stupid. It's just stupid. So I spent zero time with him. Just no time at all. And that big dozy git he used to come with, what was his name?
Hatred. He was a lovely guy. Come on.
Oh, are you joking? His missus binned him off because, did you know, you must have heard the story. His missus binned him off because he had smelly genitals. You must have. Come on, you tell him.
What about Andy Hogg? Do you still keep in touch with Andy Hogg?
I do.
I wouldn't.
but let's have a mic drop moment. Andy's in prison. So the last time I spoke to Andy was when he sent me a letter from prison. He's got about another 6 months to go.
Oh man.
God, man.
So what was your high point of your career, would you say, man? What was let us end on a beautifully positive thing, right? We'll end on this has been great fun.
Drew McDonald, do you know what? It was easy to pick out negative bits because I was a real pain in the arse perfectionist. I wanted people to look like wrestlers. My view was when you walk through the curtain, someone in the crowd shouldn't be looking at you thinking I could take it. And there was too much of that. There's too many people playing wrestler and not doing it. Drew wanted to put me over. Drew had asked me if I wanted to try out when he was scouting for him, and I said, to be honest, I'll not pass the medical because my neck's in bits. But I don't know, seeing people like Graham, Drew Galloway, Wolfgang going out and doing good things, he's just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant to watch because we picked all of those out day one as being lads that were going to go a long way. And I don't think you're going to get better. I think Drew Galloway's potential is unlimited. If he stays healthy, he can be around for as long as he wants. But bottom line is the best place I ever wrestled was up in Scotland. It always has been. It always was. If ICW carry on as they were, that's going to be the best promotion in the country without a doubt.
Beautiful.
And that's brilliant for Scotland. That's absolutely great for Scotland, I think.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming on. And my best to all you. It's lovely to see you.
You're definitely coming on again, man. Fucking hell.
All right, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
I'll see you later.
Right. See you later, Sab. Love you, mate. See you later. Send my love to your family, pal.
I will, mate.
Right. Take care, pal.
Oh, there you go. That was British wrestler Sabotage, and he was in here trying to sabotage your careers there with hitting it with some serious shoot material. But a real pleasure to catch up with a big man. Just Grado, into the truth that in the halls back in the day, in the SWA halls, when that guy would walk out, people would go, "Look at that big dude."
But it's the
That's
same
a
thing.
fucking wrestler there.
100% they did. He looked like a wrestler. But Conscience was the same. But Conscience looked like a wrestler. Conscience was brilliant.
Conscience had a look, man. Conscience had a look. Fair play. And listen, it's about time we need to get big. We need to get Big Peter on. He deserves a right to reply certainly to that. So let's get Peter on because we need to reminisce about these SWA days. That's a whole episode right there.
And I think I'm too harsh on it sometimes. I loved it. It was when I was young. It was great. We fucking had a great time. We were always selling out at the Musby Sports Centre and stuff like that. So I can't help, man. Sab, what's it like? Jesus, I didn't expect that.
You just made the list. Guest, missed, insist. These are all words that rhyme with list. And that's what we're doing right now in Wrestling Daft is we put into order something for the world of wrestling. It's a list. You can vote for what you want us to talk about. Patreon.com/Wrestling Daft. This week we asked you to choose between the best pops and the best non-WWE pay-per-views. That's an interesting one, but he's went for the best pops of all time, obviously. Listen, see all the best pops of all time as far as I'm concerned. Well, first of all, what I could do is I could make you a list of things like Kenta Kobashi's Burning Hammer against fucking... But what I know what you want to hear is American wrestling stuff. And when it comes to pops, Triple H's return after his injury has got to be in there. I don't know what order these go in. It's hard to differentiate pops in my head because a big pop is a big pop.
Right.
And also, would he... See for me... See if I was to explain to my wife, for example, what is a big pop in wrestling? What do you think it is? And this is why my top three would be ridiculous, because what do you think I would show my wife if we were talking about what is a pop? If she wanted to explain what is a pop in wrestling, what is it?
Well, I mean, any time where I've went to show my other half about stuff like this, it was always stuff like The Rock returning. Whether it be what year it is, The Rock, if you smell as a surprise that Hogan turning up at SmackDown. I've showed her mean, for me, the best one is Sandman returning to ECW. The lights go off. He's just been at WCW for 2 years as Hack.
Yep.
I think it's a pay-per-view. I think it's a house show. And then Enter Sandman hits, and it's fucking so loud. That's the kind of shit I'd show.
Well, I would always show Stone Cold. I would show Stone Cold at any Raw during that peak of the Attitude Era.
98, 99.
They pops were fucking unbelievable.
Yep.
They pops were unbelievable. The pop when Mick Foley won the world title was unbelievable. That's got to be up there. The pop that the Hardys had at WrestleMania when they came back.
Wow, you forget about that.
It was unbelievable. Grado, you've had some fucking pops, by the way.
Oh, I've had my fair share, oh boy.
You've had your fair share of pops.
Fair share.
So let's see what the punters are saying. John says Mankind winning the WWF title for The Rock. Brock Lesnar returning. Kane returning with Paul Bearer. Big pop. Sandy says an underrated one is Shawn Michaels winning the world title in the Elimination Chamber at Survivor Series 2002 at Madison Square Garden. Very rare to hear a pop that loud where everybody goes insane. One of the best. Let me say this. Madison Square Garden is a fucking hell of a house for a big pop, by the way.
Correct.
Rico says Bailey got a brilliant pop when she was revealed as Sasha Banks' partner at Battleground a few years ago. Flies under the radar, but it makes them smile to hear a crowd that has that reaction. CJ says AJ's debut at the Rumble, the confused silence before Phenomenal came on the Titantron made it even louder by comparison. Obviously, the pop for Edge coming back, which Daniel agrees with here. Daniel gets in touch saying Edge at the Rumble was next level. Hardy Boys at Mania. Sean says, negative reaction-wise, Michael's Who's Your Daddy Montreal promo got the crowd going mental.
You also remember the pop with Shawn Michaels saying that he's going to bring out Bret Hart in Montreal.
Oh, aye.
That was great. And they played the music, and then it was that was brilliant. I'm going to watch that back tonight.
Can I throw in another negative one as well? It was the Raw after the WrestleMania where Reigns beat Undertaker and he came out and he just got booed.
For like 20 minutes.
For about 5 minutes before he said, "It's my house now," and dropped the mic. It was fucking brilliant.
Aye. That was tremendous.
I remember a succession of fucking incredible pops at a One Night Stand.
Oh, One Night Stand. Oh,
One night stand, the crowd was absolutely on fucking fire, and there was like insane pops all night.
Well, that's why it goes down as one of the best pay-per-views ever. It's because of the crowd.
Aye. Ali says the biggest pop he can remember is the Dudley Boys return.
I tell you what, the Bubba's at the Rumble. That was tremendous.
That was big. Doctor Who 90250 says Sandman returning to ECW, just like you said, Grado. Stu says Austin turning up at Raw 25, nostalgic. Shout out to Triple H and Drew at ICW. Sure. Two massive pops. Pedro says Hardy Boys return at WrestleMania. Xander says SummerSlam 92 when Davey Boy Smith beat Bret Hart for the IC title in Wembley. He was only 12 and he remembers it like it was yesterday. I can imagine that was a fantastic pop. Ball playing Lock says Stone Cold when he runs out during the invasion. Absolute scenes.
That's a great pop. Aye.
Yep, a great pop. Andy says SummerSlam 88 Intercontinental title match when Warriors tune hit. Oh. Kev says Demolition winning the tag titles at WrestleMania 6. Crowd goes mental. Blatantly obvious they were over as fuck, which makes the decision to turn them heel no long afterwards look so stupid. They were jobbing by the next WrestleMania. Richie says Undertaker returning at Judgment Day 2000. Oh my God. I mean, that was a fucking pop, by the way. Why did I not think of that one?
Ring around the road, he's here. American.
How exciting was that? See, in terms of pops where also I popped, that's got to be up there because that was so fucking cool, wasn't it?
Shite, but when you watch it back on the network, it's dubbed.
Oh, is it?
Dubbed in what sense?
There's no American Badass at the play.
Oh,
sure, I could be wrong. Somebody will correct me, but I'm sure it's wrong. I'm sure it's right.
Oh, God. Sean says the pop CM Punk got in Chicago and it turned out to be Paul Heyman. Brilliant. And Spray Paint Scott says being there at Shug's house party. Oh, here we go. Being there at Shug's house party when Grado made his return was electric. Everyone chanting Grado gave him chills in the audience.
He's played kids with my children. He's from Stevenson, Scotland. Grado. That was good, that one.
What's the best pop you've ever had? Was it that one?
I can't think. That was good. Hydro when I wrestled Al Snow, I liked that. That was brilliant because all the Yanks are backstage and they were like, "Who the fuck is this?" You know that way. It's like because where the monitor was, and I wanted to kind of, I wasn't like right in the gorilla bit. I kind of waited because there was somebody filming me, and I wanted to do a long walk, and the whole place just rumbled. And I remember all the kind of wrestlers going, "What?
Yeah.
Good memory of that.
Yep. I remember Greg Hemphill telling me the story of when TNA came out to wrestle. TNA came out, and it was when Lionheart was facing Jeff Jarrett, and Greg was the referee. Remember?
Aye.
Greg was a special guest referee, Greg Hemphill. And I remember backstage, Jeff Jarrett made a wee joke like, "So everybody in Scotland knows who you are." Greg was like, "Oh, yeah, brother, yeah," like kind of hanging.
Jeff was talking about us,
and Jeff was like, "Well, we'll see, we'll just see when it happens." And then when he got announced to come out as the referee, fucking roof blew off. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? That's funny. He never told it like that. He never said it like that. But he
did not. He did not.
That's funny, but it makes a lot of sense because he's mentioned that a few times. He told me that, you know, because he's going, "What's that gimmick he does?" Because he says Greg walked out and then he stood as he done the Victor walk. The place just went nuts. So that makes sense that he said that to him beforehand, that it sticks in his mind so much.
I think he was doing it in a kind of jokey way, going like, "Right, we'll see how big a name you're." You know what I mean? In the fucking right. So so that was beautiful. So let's move on now. Patreon. Listen, see, Grado, let me just say this to you: your biggest pop, mate, is still to come.
Woo! Well, I'll tell you what, that's got me fevered. And you know what's got me fevered this week? That there's more content coming on patreon.com/wrestling daft. There's two bonus there's two bonus episodes up there now, including Grado's WrestleMania memories, and we're going to have a next one in the next couple of weeks. I can't wait to see it. It's the best way to get involved is sign up to one of our tiers at patreon.com/wrestling daft. There's content added last week. We were talking about Greg Hemphill there. He was in talking about wrestling, but it was on Football Daft, so we cut it out and we've put it on Patreon. So if you fancy that and becoming one of our patrons, sign up now at patreon.com/wrestling daft, as we would love to welcome you to the roster.
It's time now for another Wrestling Daft Road story. We are wrestlers on the way back for a show. We're trying to pop each other using your stories or Sabotage's stories. So, you know, one way or another, we're going to pop. So let's get in the car and see what happens. Just start this wee motor here. Aye. So what is who's the smelliest guy you've ever wrestled, Grado?
The smelliest guy I've ever wrestled, I couldn't pinpoint one person. I remember just one time though, somebody gave me a fish hook when I could smell their buzz, and I'm not going to drop them in it, but that was one of the most disgusting experiences in my life.
Well, let me tell you something, mate. See, about 6 years ago, a wee story for you. About 6 years ago, me and my four mates, we went into the town to see a well-known DJ playing a gig.
Right.
Now, it was a wee venue, you know what I mean? With maybe around 200 people squashed in. And needless to say, there was a lot of drink consumed. Now, after the gig finished, you rolled down that window a wee bit, mate. It's roasting.
I mate, Baron, hold on.
After the gig finished, everybody was ushered upstairs into the club, right, for the after party, where we stayed until about 3 a.m. Now, me and three of my mates decided it was time to leave, right? So we wanted to get a taxi. Time to get up the road, you know what I mean? Up the road. So we started heading towards the exit when we realised somebody was missing. One of the crew was missing. So we headed back only to find our lost mate. He was stoning me in the middle of the dance floor cutting shapes, right? But he didn't have his t-shirt and he didn't have his shoes. So I grabbed him and I was like, "Right, what the fuck's happened to your t-shirt and your shoes?" And he says, I threw them away and I can't find them. I says, right. So I searched around the dark for a bit, right? Looking for his t-shirt, looking for his pair of shoes. And I eventually had to accept they were away, right? So I grabbed them and I headed outside. Now this is where I tell you, right? It was the middle of December in Glasgow.
Oofed.
About -2 degrees and he's got nothing but a pair of jeans on, right? About 10 minutes later he's freezing his tits off. And I can't control my laughter, right? This random bird walks past, right? Staring and laughing with our mates that stay here. So my topless inebriated mate decides to make a comment here, right? Well, this didn't go down too well. Without us realising, she's went into McDonald's, She's bought a banana milkshake, right? She came back outside and she looked him dead in the eye and she said, "Fuck you." She says, as she poured the whole thing out his head. So my mate is now topless, shoeless, has a banana milkshake running down his face, right? He's desperate now. He's like, get me a tap, get me home. I need to be home, I got a tap on or something. I was in so much pain for laughing, I couldn't even move to find a taxi, right? So we go into the local kebab shop and we ask if they've got a spare t-shirt.
The kebab shop.
Right? After a few minutes of trying to break a language barrier, right? They appear with the smelliest polo shirt, right, you've ever seen, and a pair of magic gloves. Right? In his complete desperation, he puts his on and we go to find a taxi. Right? Every time I turn to look at my taxi, I just couldn't hold my laughter, and to this day we still tell that story every time we meet each other, mate.
Oh, that's nice.
The story of the time pal didn't have his t-shirt, he didn't have his shoes,
Got banana put down.
banana milkshake put in his
T-shirt for the
face.
kebab shop.
We're in the kebab shop, asked if they had a t-shirt. He came out with the smelliest polo shirt they could find, a pair of magic gloves. They put it on and we went to find a taxi, and every time I turned to look at him in the taxi, I couldn't hold my laughter in, mate. To this day, mate, every time we see each other, we tell this story about the time my mate, he was in a club, he didn't have a t-shirt on, no shoes, banana milkshake in his face, into the kebab shop asking for a t-shirt, smelliest polo shirt ever, into a taxi. Every time I looked at him, couldn't hold my laughter in. I tell you, mate, see to this day, every time we see each other, we tell each other that story about the time my mate had no t-shirt on, no shoes on, banana milkshake running down his face. Into the kebab shop asking for a t-shirt and a taxi, turned around. Every time I looked at him, couldn't stop laughing. To this day, we keep telling each other the story about the time my mate didn't have his t-shirt on, the top one. So that story was from Martin Taylor. Thank you very much, Martin, for that story about the time I had no t-shirt and no shoes, banana milkshake running down his face.
There was no getting the holes this
Sean,
week.
please don't interrupt me. Into a kebab shop asking for a t-shirt in a taxi. Every time we looked at him, he's just couldn't hold my laughter. And to this day, every time we see each other, we tell that story about the time my mate had no t-shirt on, no shoes.
Anyway.
Grado, before we do anything else, are you Pro 2?
Right, mate, up the road.
Jake Sabotage is Pro 2.
Oh, we should have asked him.
Aye.
I think Sabotage might have had a few things to say about Pro 2. Right.
Anyway.
Let's give the listener of the week to who was the guy that
Graham.
Who was it?
Graham, the guy that said Undertaker buried his mom.
Aye.
Graham from the Isle of Man.
Graham! I'm Griffin, the other man called Graham.
He is the listener of the week. It's been an absolute pleasure. Of course, as ever, you can, it would be good to get some reviews from you and all of that. Sign up for our Patreon and all of that.
I can see there have been a couple of British wrestlers this week fucking downgrading us.
Get in touch with us. If you disagree about comments about your body odor or whatever, get in touch with us. And get on patreon.com/wrestling daft to get more amazing comment. Check out our merch at shop.spreadshirt.co.uk/wrestling daft. Let me tell you something. Us three guys are absolutely exhausted.
We are.
We're hard-working men. We're
Back on the
absolutely
set,
knackered. Your support is appreciated. We're coming on here. We're having a good laugh. We hope we entertained you. We're all away to our bed now.
Aye.
That's it for Wrestling Daft. We love you very much. Everybody, Grado, join up the road. It's yourself.
Sell right enough.
It's yourself. Up the road.
Tidy.
Audio Frontier.